We are now live. Hey, Alpha Sisters. I'm Theo here, and I'm here with my friend Amanda Bell. I'm like doing this,
Hi.
but you're here. Oh, yeah, this from Indie Deck Review and Sultan Shadow Tarot. So let me just double check that we're live. Oh, there we are. So guys, this is Healing Happy Hour. So once a month I bring in another magical alpha sister and we talk about their magic. We ask questions about um their work, their magic, and then ask questions and kind of learn about the work she does. So today it's about being a witch and healing yourself through witchcraft. And Amanda is a practicing witch, right? That's
Yes.
what you said.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask Amanda to kind of tell her story. But while I'm kind of waiting for you guys to watch this, I'll just give you a quick story of how I got to know Amanda. Amanda, I got to know from my morning come oracle. So when I came up with the oracle card and I was like, I have this thing and I want more people to know about it. And so our mutual friend said, well, you should reach out to Amanda. And she's the editor and founder of Indie Dead Review, which is like this amazing organization that reviews all this independent tarot and oracle deck. And I was like, oh my God, like what if like I can't reach out to her? Like I'm this little person and she's this big editor. I don't know if she's gonna talk to me, but you're wonderful. You're so awesome.
Thanks.
So we talked
Thank
and
you.
then we had a phone call, and not only you helped promote Morning Calm Oracle, we ended up having a really great time talking to each other. So we ended up
Oh,
working
yeah.
together on different projects. But Amanda, please give us a like quick introduction of what you do and like whatever. Do say.
So, uh, my family didn't prioritize religion. Like we got to do whatever we wanted. That was really important. It was one of our few traditions. You go learn what you want. We'll drive you to the place, the synagogue, the temple, whatever. Go. And so I found myself in my mid 30s, and my remaining parent was dying, and I told my husband, like I do, I need religion. I'm going to need to go to the bookstore to find me something religious. And after many trips to the bookstore, I finally found a book on paganism. And there was that's what it's called. It's called paganism. And there was this umbrella diagram of all of these different religions under the term. And I was fascinated. I didn't know half of them, like they were all new to me. And I remember telling my husband that, oh, any of these will work, but probably not Buddhism, and probably not Wicca, because this isn't the craft. Like I was very anti high school witchcraft for me as a religious practice. And so I kept reading all these books and learning about all the herbal stuff and finding more and more that the way well, I didn't put the two together. My husband actually had to tell me. But I found more and more that modern witchcraft is essentially taking what the earth gives us and using it like the way we're supposed to. And so one day my husband's on the phone and he's telling his friend, yeah, my wife's a witch. And I was like, oh, how could you say that? And he's like, do you even read these books you have? And it turned out that I was a witch. And for a long time, I claimed the term Wiccan because it's federally recognized and I can put that on my paperwork. Um, but for me, the Wiccan faith, while there's a lot of good points to it, it's still more full of rules than I'm comfortable with. And the rules rarely ever benefit me. The rules are more like how we should behave towards others. And I just feel like if you were not an ethical person to start with, then no set of rules are really going to help you there, right? So, probably about 5 years ago, I stopped studying with other people. I stopped practicing with other people. I stopped reading books about witchcraft and started, but when I say other people, I mean like other covens, other circles. I stopped going to festivals. In 2014 was my last festival. Festivals in the pagan community are like weekend long camping events full of rituals and workshops. They're wonderful. They're so fun. PSG is a week long. And it's a delight. I mean, there's so many things to learn there. But my social brain wanted to make it about the social aspect instead of the learning aspect, which wasn't helpful. So about 5 years ago, I decided to start focusing on my craft and realizing that witchcraft is a craft, which means it's just like anything else that is a craft. It's just like carpentry. It's just like blacksmithing. It's just like jewelry making. You have to practice. You have to learn. You have to know your elements. You have to know what they do for you. You have to know if your magical spell today is a tea, then what is in the tea? What are you putting in your body? What do you hope to gain from it? What elements are you using to direct your focus? So that's
So
how I've
when you
been
are, so
practicing.
being a witch doesn't necessarily mean you're pagan or Wiccan or
Yeah.
identify something like that as a religion.
You, yeah,
So, right?
you're
So
right.
being a
You
modern
can.
witch nowadays could mean a variety of things,
Anything. Oh,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the most interesting witches I've met practiced Christian faith, which I find fascinating, like, because those people burned witches, like for real, you know?
Mhm.
So I find it fascinating to study that juxtaposition of I totally practice this faith, but also they persecuted me, 600 years ago. Um, so that's always interesting. But these women, and sometimes men, in my small, tiny journeys, the way they practice their faith is admirable. They walk their talk. They're they're out there, with the moon cycles, harvesting elderberry, making tincture, doing the work. Uh, this is silly, but it really was eye opening for me. Terry Pratchett wrote lots of books set in Discworld, and there's a tiny series within that big series, the Tiffany Aching series, where Granny Weatherwax is a main character, and Granny talks about what witchcraft is, what being a witch means, and it's doing the work. It's taking care of yourself, taking care of your earth, being stewards of your land, being stewards of your body, taking care of the people around you that need it.
Well, it sounds a
It's
lot like kind of shamanic work I do as a healer. And so even though I feel like I know which people call me a witch sometime, but I don't identify as a witch because it's not in my culture.
right.
However, the elements of, I would say that, being a Korean shaman, we're witches of Korea. Or
Yeah,
like witches in European descent will be kind of shamans that we consider in Korea,
right.
in Asia. But how does so like so Amanda, so it's great to hear your journey, but when someone says in your 2021, I run across someone who says like, I'm a witch. What does that even mean? How does one become a witch? Is there an initiation like
Oh,
shamanism, or is
yeah,
it
you can
you start
you could
practicing and
totally
you
go in all that.
self-identify? Like tell us a few ways that
So,
someone becomes a witch.
um, oh, there's lots of doorways. So there's books, right? Then there's groups. Then there's pagan groups that you find in your area. Um, and pagan groups encompass people who practice druidry, people who practice asatru, people who practice Wicca, who practice all the different branches of Wicca, right? Like, so you find these people, and then you go, oh yeah, this seems great. Or like my entry into the greater community was a ritual, and I was like, ooh, a ritual. So we stood around a fire. There was a lot of arms raised and some stand up, sit down. It was very not what I like. I watch TV. I know what happens in the woods with witches. There's magic stuff that happens. Um, so realigning your expectations with reality takes a minute. Understanding, getting into the scene is pretty easy. But when I used to teach path working for students, that's what I was doing when I stopped. I was teaching path finding for students, where people would come to me and say, I want to find my path. I want to become a witch. I don't know what I want to be, but I'm feeling called for these things. And I always direct people to books. I'm a total book junkie. And I would kind of tease out of them, like, what are the things you're looking for? Some people need those rules. Some people do very well with the, all of the structure and rules and regulations of a religion. Like, these are the days that are holy. These are the days that are not. This is what you do on Sunday. This is what you do on the first 4 times a year. This is what you do on the equinox and the Sabbath, or the solstice. And so I always recommend people start studying, learning about traditions, learning about, somebody came to me today and said, I want to be a witch. I want to have all the tools. I want to wear a robe. I want to wear a pointy hat. I want to do all the things that are witchcraft. I would send them to traditional Gardnerian, Alexandrian, or Temple of Witchcraft. And there are books that they can go to, and there are you can look those covens up because they're the biggest ones.
I've noticed there are actually publishing companies that only publish like witchy stuff. So I think witches have organized, then they've become really powerful force in terms of like, they publish books and they do festivals and they train and they teach and things like that. I see 10 people watching the live. You guys, please comment and let us know if you guys have any question about being a witch, or if you identify as a witch, or any questions around it. Please comment, because I'm so curious. I'm asking a lot of questions, but I want to make sure that I'm asking the question you guys want to ask. So please comment, or at least let us know hi, or what you guys are doing. But Amanda, tonight is new moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my culture as a shaman, I always do, because new moon in my culture is basically first day of the month, right?
Yes.
So we don't call it new moon. We say it's first day of the month. So I always do a ritual, which is making some offerings and then doing some prayer, like extended prayer and ritual, usually praying for the humanity, but also specific clients that I want to support. But what's your new moon ritual look like?
Pre-COVID days, when I had privacy, my new moon ritual was I would set up a candle altar for each element at my kitchen table. And it started out as writing out wishes. The new moon is the beginning of the cycle, right? So everything we do today on this new moon is all about increasing energy. What do we want to feed, right? So I started out writing wishes, and then I started making them into intentions. Like, this is my goal. I don't wish for anything. That's too free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too hidden cost. I want to reach this space. I want to do this thing. Now that privacy is sort of not a thing I do, my new moon ritual involves time spent looking at the moon, time spent thinking about things, time spent being fully present inside my body to see what's going on. Like, I've spent a lot of this year looking at the different ways my body is aligned with the cycles of the moon. It's been sort of fascinating. I don't do new moon to full moon. I hit somewhere kind of off center, and it's interesting.
Yeah, someone asked, where do you live? But we can't see your name, but yeah, I think it's Amy. Amy asked, where do you live?
I'm in St. Louis, in Missouri, smack dab in the middle of the United States.
Is that where you've always been, or where are you originally from?
I'm from the West Coast, just outside of Los Angeles.
I was going to say,
Long Beach.
if you're raised to be free about religion and you're from St. Louis, I'll be like, oh, very interesting. Yeah. Okay. West Coast, like California and stuff like that.
California. Yeah. Yeah.
And then somebody said, I love all of what we worship has ritual and tradition.
Me too. I think it's beautiful.
I'm working on like the tradition that I practice has thousands of years of history. And, as an author, I'm working on this project. I was telling Amanda that I'm translating an ancient text that has kind of stories from 10,000 years ago, but it was written 1800 years ago. So it was written in 300, about the time that was like thousands of years before. But in that like ancient text, it talks about rituals and about connecting and worshiping nature and holding that tradition and making sure that they teach the descendants about the ritual and wisdom and tradition. So I think that's so powerful to just kind of see, man, this book that was written like 1800 years ago about time that was even a few thousand years before, human beings were having rituals and like connection with nature and teaching their people how to do it. So I think it's always been part of a human life
Oh yeah,
before all the bullshit that just happened.
I think so too. I look back at earlier this year, I went down the genealogy wormhole, and looked at some of my ancestors and thought about how might they have practiced, what would have been important to them. And for me, the idea, one of the things that attracted me so much to witchcraft was their idea of Sabbats and how they move from harvest times. And that's how they're categorized. Like there are 3 harvest festivals. There are solstice and equinox festivals. And so that's the way I teach them. And that's the way it makes sense to me. Like we still follow a harvest cycle. In our modern world, no gardens, no nothing. We got a grocery store on call 24/7. We still follow a harvest cycle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I love that.
Someone asked me a question. What's been your biggest challenge translating that text for modern times? For me right now, it is because it is Korean ancient culture that even modern Koreans don't know about. If I directly translate in English, you guys are going to be like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what? So I have to kind of like, um, so I can't directly translate. So I have to kind of re-edit as I translate so it actually connects to more like universally. So that's the challenge, but I love it. It's a great challenge because when you try to apply universally, there's a principle of a divine oneness. There is a principle about kindness against other people. It's about trusting the divine. So all the things that we talk about today, it's in the ancient text, so which is so amazing. Because it's like, oh, okay, so it's all around like, surrendering to the universe, connecting with the nature, getting along with people and communicating, getting my soul clear by practicing my spiritual practice with like, so it's kind of same stuff that we talk about today, but it's just translating in that way so people can understand is kind of a challenge, but it's cool. Awesome. So
I love that.
anyone else?
I'm excited.
So go ahead. Sorry, Amanda.
Oh, I was saying I'm excited to see your finished product.
Me too. You know, you're an editor. You work with publishers. So I'm just starting these micro things. So this one, I'm like, so you do P&L because I'm a business person. So I do P&L, and I was like, oh, so unless I sell like 5,000 copies, I don't even break even. I lose a lot of money. But to me, it feels like it's something I've got to do. It's like something the world beyond Koreans needs to know. So I'm like, it's a project that I'm committing to. There's a little static, Amanda, that's coming up.
Oh, I don't I
Don't
don't hear
worry about it.
anything.
Right. Okay, so
All
this
right.
one, weird question, but can animals have witchy traits? My dog really stops, looks, and wants to go in these 3 witchy stores near where we live, more so than other places. And he sometimes will just look at the moon in awe. What do you think,
I
Amanda?
I think yes, all the time. Animals are primal, right? Like they feel what they feel. So any place where there's big energy, intentional energy, they want to be there. It's soothing to them. It's a language they understand, and Dude, I look at the moon in awe too. Have you seen that thing? It's gorgeous. Yeah,
Well, we get it
absolutely.
every day. It's there
I
every
know.
day, you
Every
know,
day. It just for free. Like we just get to go out there and have it. It's wonderful.
and it changes shape, so you could like so you don't get bored with the moon. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I love Dog Whisperer, Tanya. So for me, like Dog Whisperer, he's all around like dogs know energy. They sense energy. They sense. So I think
Oh
that
yeah.
maybe why your dog is pretty witchy, as in very sensitive to the energy. Um, Okay, the next person, she said, I love that you spoke about the divine oneness. Most of the religions and faith practice the idea of divine oneness. Yes. Yeah. I think
I
it
think
came
that
from, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say I think that once you get past the tools of a religion and you step into the actual faith of a religion, it doesn't matter what it is. Um, Religion and faith typically are there to make you better, to make this place better, to make it better for each other without reward. Like, and I think that's universal, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, I think differentiating between religion and faith is important. Um,
Hmm.
he has gone in one and just laid down on floor and totally seemed calm. Oh, well, maybe
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what has pretty badass, cool
Oh,
witches.
yeah.
She felt
When I
safe.
did, when I was doing my rituals for the moons and I would set up my candles on the table, I always had to like shoo a cat off because animals want to be in that stuff. If I shuffle my cards, my dog Vader will come running in here like, oh, we're in. Let's do it, Mom. Let's do this thing. I love it.
Yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, guys, those
Oh,
behind Amanda are all tarot decks. I told you she's the
yeah.
founder and editor of Indie Deck Review. So those are all decks of cards.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of books, but not many.
Yeah. It's a
I've got
pretty
it.
magical den she has.
It's my dining room. It's my magical dining room.
Yeah.
Next week, I said that I would do a tour of my dining room on Instagram. So I gotta put some things away.
I didn't even know that was
Yeah.
dining room. I thought that was like your
Oh
den,
yeah.
like a witch's
No,
den.
no. I keep trying to move to an office, but I just like being in the dining room. It's a good spot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So, guys, just keep asking question or comment. But Amanda, since this was a healing happy hour, we talked about maybe you
Oh,
could give some tips or like how can even though we're not like full on practicing witch without having to butcher it or disrespect it, is there things that we can actually incorporate into our daily spiritual practice or
oh
weekly?
yeah, yeah. The first thing I tell people is to look at all the witchcraft they're already practicing. Do you when you spill salt, do you throw it over your shoulder? Do you not step on cracks? Do you follow some superstitions? Do you have things you do that you find yourself doing at the new moon, like acknowledging those spaces? That always helps. That always helps ease some of the ruffled bits around us. As far as actual uh, spell work, I guess. Um, my favorite is tea. That's the language I speak.
Mm,
And when I tell people to drink a tea, it's not sit down and blow and sip on this hot thing. It's take the entire aspect of making that tea and turn it into a tiny ritual. Be present when you fill the kettle. Turn it on. Listen to it simmer and get ready to boil. Like be physically present in the moment, not checking your phone, not worrying about anybody else, just you and that water. Get your cup ready. Put your tea bag in. If you're looking for calm, it's mint. Get some mint. If you're looking for quiet and peace within you, um, there's Egyptian licorice mint. It's a tea called throat coat that has all these good ingredients that it does good things for when you're sick, but it also, when you're sipping it and you're present in each and every single flavor and you're dissecting it and making time for it, it recenters you in ways that nothing else does. Um,
Well, that sounds great. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound
It's
so witchy, but
it's I know, but it really is.
it's
It really is. There's all kinds of other little witchy stuff. Like there's candle magic. You could buy a book on candle magic.
Mm.
White candles for sacred stuff, black candles for banishment. Um,
Yeah, tell us some of the like must-have items you think if somebody
oh,
wants to kind of start
if
out.
you if you are a tool person and you want to create the ritual space, right? So first you have to think of your space in a circle like a compass. You have north and then east and south and west, right? And north is earth, east is air, south is fire, west is water. And so you would set up candles in that circle, right? So in the north, you would have green for earth. So you could put stones there. You could put green candles there. You could put actual bowls of dirt or salt there, right?
Mhm.
In the east, you would have yellow for air. So yellow candles. You would have incense. That's where you would put. Sometimes we put a bell over there. In the south, you'd have fire. So you have a red candle. You would have. You can't get lava rock for real, but you can get lava salt. You could put that there. You could put coral. I like to put coral there because it's red and it's a certain, it's very similar to a lava stone. Um, Salamanders, like maybe don't get a real one, but a picture of one or a statue of one can go there. And then in the West, you put a chalice, you put a blue candle, you put water, you put seashells because it's ocean, it's water. So it could be sea, river, creek, whatever you got, tap, whatever. It's not picky. Water is water. Um, except distilled water. That's dead water. And we don't want that in our living ritual. In the center, you hold spirit. So center can be a candle representing God and goddess, whatever archetypes you're using. You'd have an athame and a chalice specific for this purpose because the chalice represents the feminine, the sacred feminine, and the athame represents the sacred masculine. And an athame is a double-edged knife. So it's got an edge on both sides. You would put, I used to have a stone plate that had a pentacle on it, which represent the 5 elements plus spirit, or, the 4 elements plus spirit, encased in a circle to the sacred space.
Oh, now, like, see, I
Yeah.
didn't know this little
Oh,
detail.
oh yeah. That's the way I was taught that's what it means. And that's with the one point at the top. And not
Uh-huh.
when it's turned over, it's just a pentagram. Um, that still means the same thing, it's just upside down. you know, uh, so the center is where you would put your whatever spirit objects you wanted to put there to honor them, whatever archetypes you're working with, whether you're working with I teach deity as archetypes. So like let's say we're working with the Greeks or the Romans and we want to use Zeus and Hera or Jupiter and Juno, um, whatever ones you're working with, whoever across any pantheon, it doesn't matter. Maybe there's one that comes to you in your dreams and you just want to get to know this person, this archetype. I feel that they represent different energy and facets um, within our humanity, right? And we're typically called to the facets and archetypes of things we need to work on. So you could go buy a ready-made altar that has your 5 candles, sometimes they do silver and gold to represent silver. The goddess is also represented by the moon, and gold is the sun and man. So, and God, right? So you could do
Mm.
gold and silver candle in the center. You could do a purple one for spirit. You've got your 4 other elementals things. You
Whatever that
can,
that you feel aligned to
yes,
do.
yes. If when you buy a book, they will give you a specific list. When you go to a teacher, they should tell you to find the things that matter to you because that's the only way any of it ever works, right?
Mhm.
Um, so you set up the altar, and then there is an order for calling everything in. So you start, you pick a direction. I don't buy into the you only start in this one space. Sometimes you want to start in a different space. You pick a direction and you cast a circle. You call in an element. Say, water, I invite you to my space. You know, come on in. You can be as poetic as you'd like. You could be who you are. That's probably going to serve you better, right? Just be respectful and call that spirit in and cast that circle and make it strong. And casting a circle is as simple as it can be, as simple as like pointing your finger and drawing a circle with it and saying, I cast this circle to be sacred space for me. Now you can like drag a sword across the ground and then cover it in salt. I mean, like there's some things you can do. But if you're just starting out, you want to practice, you just kind of feel your circle around you and claim it. This is my circle. I invite these elements in with me. I invite the spirit of God and goddess in with me, because the thing that witchcraft and Wicca taught me is that I do believe that if there are guiding deities in our lives, they are some of each, right? There is no all one dude handle it. No, that's not how it works. So I believe there's feminine. I believe there's masculine. I believe there's both and none, right? There's like a whole spectrum of, if I have to just assign gender, there's a whole spectrum of gender to work with and learn from, right? So you cast these spaces and circle, elements, deity are on the way in. And then on the way out, you release them. When you're done doing whatever it is you're doing, you say, thank you. You know, go if you must, stay if you will, hail and farewell. And out they go. And it's deity, elements, circle. Circle is done.
Very kind of similar to what I do, but that's like different but similar, and different archetypes. Basically, my deities are my cultural, but I do believe each of my deity there's a deity or god or goddess in another culture that's just like it, you know?
Oh yes.
Are very similar, because it's archetype. It's just energy, right? It's the energy that as humans, it's important for us to access that energy and its magic. So we created this deity with names and look and like just to help us work with that energy. But at the end of the day, it's just energy.
It is just energy.
Yeah.
In 2013, I went to my first PSG, Pagan Spirit Gathering. And I went to the women's ritual, and it was huge. There was like hundreds of women standing in a circle together. It was powerful. I don't remember a single word that was spoken. I just remember how that felt, right? And that night I dreamt of a ritual I needed to do. I haven't completed it, but I need to. And I dreamt of this deity that came to me and was like, we have to show up in the language you speak. And that's like, from that moment on, that became the cornerstone of my practice, is the archetype, the energy, the deity would show up in the language I needed. And sometimes I'm stubborn. I need some weird stuff, right? Sometimes I'm like, oh, hey, Joe, how you doing? You know, or whoever. But I think that that's true. And I think that's always been true, that whatever that energy is of this planet, of this world, of all humans together, I feel like it shows up to us in a language we speak.
Somebody asked, how do we follow you on Instagram? We'll make sure to share that link. She has two accounts. Yes, and we'll be sure that. And then also Amanda is doing a tarot class for the sisterhood. I put it in the Facebook group event page. So it's Fool's Journey, right? And I mean, you tell us what it is so that people, and then you guys can sign up for that.
So one of the ways you can learn to read tarot is to understand that tarot just tells a story, right? And it's the story of the Fool interacting with all of the major arcana. So these are all of the things that the Fool deals with. And then the minor arcana, which are all the suits. So there's the way the Fool interacts with practical things, with money, with emotions, with thoughts, with the way his creativity and passions kind of go. So the Fool's Journey I'm teaching is about how the Fool interacts with the majors. just the major arcana. Like, what does that look like? How do we break that down and navigate those cards?
Yes, so that training is available. If you're part of my inner circle, you don't have to do anything. You just need to come to the course because all the training that I offer is included as part of inner circle membership. But if you're not a member and you want to learn more from this wise witch of this tarot magician boss lady, then you can sign up and we will, I think it's 27, 28. I need to look. I think 28. It's there. So I'll be
My
sure
phone
to
is right
share
here.
that with you guys. Oh, yeah. Thursday, I think. Um,
I have the 27th, a Wednesday. Did we move it?
I remember we moved it.
I think we moved it.
Now we're gonna
I'm going to
confuse
move it.
everyone. We're
I'm
gonna
going to move
confuse
it so
everyone.
that I look like I know. I'm
It's
totally
okay. We're
professional.
confused, but you guys could look at the event page. I'll double check. So don't listen to us. Look
Yes,
at
yes.
look at the thing. Look at the thing on the paper. Another question. I think this one. I think people will want to know. Any witchcraft tip you could share for people wanting to manifest? Maybe manifest more money.
Oh,
Manifest
yes,
love. And we can't do it all, but is there like a quick thing that you
yes.
could help us?
Super. So, burning bay leaves, that is good money, Juju. Create an altar. Seriously, create an altar to money movement, right? And before you get there, first you have to put in your head that in order for money to grow, it has to move.
Mhm.
So every time you pay a bill, you are manifesting. Thank you, universe. I'm ready for more. Thank you, universe. I'm ready for more. So you pay your bills best you can. You donate where you can, not because you'll get something back, but because your money needs to move.
You want to
Money
create
that
a
stays
flow.
still, money that stays still gets stagnant. It corrodes. I mean, have you ever left change in a cup holder and then like tried to dig it out? That's what money's doing when you're just like idolizing it and holding it still. But when it goes, it comes. You
Mm.
create that movement.
Mhm.
So burning bay leaves, shopping, spending,
Oh, I love
doing.
that
I mean,
one.
like don't like. I'm not saying you cannot go tell your partner. Look, Amanda said max out every credit card. Amanda is not saying that. Amanda is saying be responsible. Maybe you get a tarot deck of
Let's create
session.
the flow. Create the flow.
Yeah, create the flow. Light the bay leaves. Green candles, that's my go-to. I That works for me in ways that nothing else ever has. Um, what else is a good money? Oh, contracts.
Oh,
Hey universe, I need I need the funds. I need the funds to do this thing. And then you sign it. Um, the day before I had my first um, meeting with you, I needed funds to do something. And very unexpectedly, they showed up that day
yes.
because you booked 5 sessions. I was like,
Yeah, like let me
I mean,
Venmo, and then it's just like,
and I got off the phone and like I was halfway through. I mean, my kitchen is 6 steps away from me. I made it 3 and I went, wait, I literally just asked for that yesterday. Nice.
so
This is
write the
great.
contract on the paper. Is that what you do? And
Yeah.
put it on the
Yep.
altar? Do you burn it or
Yeah.
do anything with it or
Um,
just write it?
you know what? I don't even. I think I'm starting to suspect my whole house is an altar. Honestly, because I mean it's everywhere. I leave things on my dining room table, so my altar is piles of books and papers and pens. And altars are the places you go to that you do work at. So there's working altars and then there's prayer altars, and understanding the difference. It's
Mm-hmm.
not this pretty thing that you just dust 24/7. No, man, let that get dirty. Get some incense dust in there and, make the cleaning of it part of your practice, right?
Yeah, and
Um,
inevitably something will burn. Like you'll drop,
yes.
like it'll catch
Yeah.
fire once in a while, so it'll
Yeah.
kind of get all worn.
I have singed the ends of a contract. I wrote a
Mm.
contract for our house. I said, this is our house. This is our address. We live here. And I wrote a contract, and it took 4 months, 3 months. And then we did live here. And I just put that in my car. and just kept it with me everywhere I went.
Mm. You guys, there's some question about, are we doing a reading? This is not a reading. We're not doing live reading today. It's a healing happy hour, so we're just talking and learning. But then we'll do another live reading one another time. That's called psychic happy hour, and just come back for that. All right. So manifesting, kind of setting up the altar, contract. It doesn't pertain to me, but maybe attraction. Is there attraction spell?
So I call those glamours, right?
Ooh, like blood.
Kind of, right? So I wear glamours all the time. I'm in one now. I've, got my hair pulled back. I've got some makeup on. And what I do is I go into my makeup kit, and I know that there are like 3 pieces I need to feel like I'm somebody other than somebody who doesn't wear pants most of the time because it's quarantine. I live in my pajamas. I have mascara and eyeliner and chapstick because masks, but it used to be lipstick. I put those things on my altar first. Like when I first get them, I just kind of leave them on my table and imagine who I look like with those things on and what kind of interactions I want to have with people when I have those things on. Sometimes I have eyeliners that they're my war paint. That's what I wear when I'm going to fight somebody about something. Yeah. So when I show up and I'm wearing all black eyeliner, all black, like we're having some words. And when I wear colorful stuff like pink or whatever, pink and green, that's what I wear to go make money.
Oh, I love this idea of kind of assigning magical power to the makeup.
Yeah.
As a form of glamour spell. I see Megan Marconiak watching it. She's a friend of mine who's like style guru. So I know you're all over it, Megan. Yeah, I never thought about that. Like, this lipstick, when I put this on, people like, I'll get a lot of attention, or people will hang on every word that I speak, or
what? I have a lipstick. It's called Twig by MAC. It is almost exactly my lip color. There's very little difference between half on and half off. And I know this because I've left the house like that just to see. But when I wear it, something about the way I speak becomes different because people listen to everything I say. And it's amazing. So if I'm wanting to attract a specific kind of attention, I've got makeup for that.
I'm so excited about this. Right?
That was a challenge. One of my students asked me, why can't glamour magic be real glamour? And I was like, well, why can't it be real glamour? I mean, why can't it? We see Hollywood put on glamour magic all the time. Like we can let Hollywood teach us that Benedict Cumberbatch is a dragon, and we've bought it totally. So why can't we use the tools in our cabinet to, I don't know, be a dominatrix, or be a badass business lady, or be soft and subtle, or whatever we want,
Because magic is really as strong as the intention and the energy, right? Magic is just the manipulation of vibrational energy to make it happen or manifest. Everything's energy. So, and energy moves
other things.
So this fun glamour thing I'm so excited about this. You might start seeing me with like all full makeup from now.
You know what? I had a couple years where I just desperately wanted to be a mermaid, and my hair was all shades of purples and greens and pinks and blues, and I felt like a mermaid. I felt like I could just dive under the water and nobody could see me. It was wonderful.
I think, is that the confidence that it instills in you?
I think so. I do.
Somewhat.
You carry yourself different when you wear clothes that fit you properly, or when you wear something that feels good. For me, it's a texture thing. If I'm wearing like this shirt, it feels really good. And I found a shirt that has like a sparkle to it. Like, oh, well, now I'm fancy, but it's still just my t-shirt.
I think it shifts your vibration from where the status quo. So I don't think it's only confidence, because I'm pretty confident person. But I would probably need some glamour magic just for me to shift from the place of like total confidence and I'm the boss to like
Oh yeah.
soft and sensual and like, you know what I mean? Like if I really want to anchor into that feminine attraction and soft sensual part of me, I don't think I can like switch on. So something like this magic where when I put this on, like I'm activating that part of my energy. So it's not necessarily a confidence, but it's like my mind, like, you know, I think it helps
It
me work
changes us.
through my ego, you know?
Yeah. Changes our perspective.
Yeah.
We're no longer operating from our pajamas. We're operating from this eyeliner. We're operating from this intention.
Carrie says when you feel good about the way you look, it changes your energy.
Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily look when you feel good, you know, when you feel good in period, it shifts your energy, it raises your vibration.
Sure.
Awesome.
A couple other spell candles that I think are super useful. When you need to boost your creativity, orange and yellow, light those up right away. Something about colors of fire and sunlight.
And the sacral chakra, orange.
And have orange oil or orange scented stuff around you, or eat an orange, right? When you've lost something, brown candles. It doesn't matter what kind. I had a friend, she lost a cat, and the cat was gone for like weeks. And she called me and she's like, I don't know what to do. I was like, light some brown candles and let the universe know you're ready. And that cat was home the next morning. So like, he did that several times. I said, maybe fix your door also and stop letting your cat out. Like, you know, it doesn't always have to be magic. You could just fix this.
Light the brown candles to find my motivation to exercise.
To bring stuff home. Oh, yes, right? That works as well. But when so attraction stuff, like, honestly, if you want to bring your partner or future spouse or future, I don't know, fuck buddy, I don't know what you're looking to bring home. I feel like those spells shouldn't be just a casual wish upon a candle business. I feel like those spells require you to write some things and do some magic and get real clear in your intention.
And be consistent and like, you got to go all in because these are life-changing.
Yeah. You're not
changing things, big things.
You're not like bringing home a new house plant. You are bringing home a new human that's going to be intertwined in every aspect of your life. So, spells like that, like, be real clear. Are you looking for forever, or are you looking for 20 minutes on a Thursday? And like, choose, you know?
And my big thing is, I know we're talking about spells and fun things right now, but like most important thing is you have to heal. Like you have to become the most clear, most healed, thriving vessel to do this magic. If you're all fucked up and still dealing with all your bullshit from your past trauma, like you are stuck in your victim mindset, or like your ego just calls the shot all the time, if you're up and down on your vibration, all this kind of spells is not going to really help us.
No.
So I think commitment to our own healing, right? We want to get to a place where we could, so these cool things actually work.
They do.
And help us.
But like you were saying, like, if I do magic for something I haven't healed, like, oh, I'm looking for a new house plant, you know, I'm just going to keep getting the same crap I always get. Your magic comes from you, like whatever you've got in here. So if that's still broken, that's all you're bringing home, right? You can enchant for all the money in the world. And if your relationship with money is that you blow it on fast food every Tuesday and never pay your bills, then you're just going to have a lot more fast food. You're going to gain some weight. You're going to be evicted. Like, you're just making your problems bigger. So the first step, how do you enchant yourself to get your shit together? That was the question.
To get your shit together. I'm writing that shit down.
Yeah. That was the question that came into my head and became like just a little nagging thing in the back of my head. And I didn't do much about it, but changed my religious affiliation. I thought, oh yeah, that'll fix it. But life will conspire. Once you start asking yourself that question, once you start that intention, life will conspire to make you look. How do you change yourself? How do you enchant yourself? How do you fix it? For me, life was like, cool. You want to work this out? We're going to give you some cancer. We're going to give you some operations. We're going to give you a hard year. You're going to lose all your friends. You're going to have to get really clear about who you are. You're going to, therapy. We're going to get you a good therapist. And that's what I did for like, the cancer part was 6 months, got the all clear, but the therapy part was like almost 3 years. And it was weekly. Like, this is just what we did. We picked me completely apart and put me back together. It was not pretty. I was not a joy to invite to brunch. And oh my God, I'm so much better for it. Like, confronting the bad parts of me changed not just my regular life, but my magical life. Like, I used to joke, and I call it the spell return. My spell return is 6 to 8 weeks, right? My spell return now is fairly immediate. If I want it, it's coming. I have cleared the way. I have gotten rid of the bullshit. And understanding that we pile the bullshit in front of us. Like, we talk about walls, but let's be honest. Our bullshit, my bullshit, was like pints of ice cream, some candy bars, crap I didn't need, useless arguments I didn't even intend to have because I didn't want to have the real discussion, and like some really questionable sweatpants that maybe I didn't need to own anymore, right? Like, those were my walls. And when you get rid of those things and you're forced to live in your real self, it changes you. And that's when I felt like I was a real witch. That's what I felt like. There is nothing that can come to me that I won't be able to handle, that I won't be able to face head on. And that's witchcraft.
Yeah, it's very empowering. Going to Salem just for fun was so empowering to me because these witches are so badass. Very feminist, very badass, and just powerful, and just like they're everywhere. So that's when I really realized, like, modern witches are pretty badass.
Oh yeah. When you think about where they really started, like, they got lit on fire, and everybody had to decide after that what that really meant. And there was a whole lot of people that were like, oh, you're burning us now? We're hexing the fuck out of you. We're done. We're done. We will meet in secret. We will hide who we are. We will take care of this stuff quietly and intentionally.
And survive. And keep
so
it
many
going.
Traditions were born from there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe there were witches before. I don't believe that. I think that there were wise women. I think there was like grannies, like a granny. Everybody had that. Every village had that granny that they could just go to, or their midwife. There were, and there were wise men. There were all kinds of people that just held all of the knowledge of humanity in them. Like, I'm not talking about like where to get the best burger, not that knowledge, not math. I'm talking about like the knowledge of how to make humans move and move forward and take care of themselves and
heal them and
be present.
Someone's Amy said, thank you for sharing your story. Your story aligns with so many other women's stories and realities. So
thanks.
All right, so we have 4 minutes left, so I think we should wrap this up. I mean, because we could do this for hours, but we'll do
I'm a talker.
Time. But Amanda, so there are many ways that people can work with you, right? Like, so let's just kind of give them some idea. Like, okay, we'll share the links after this talk, but they could do consulting, they could do tarot readings. So tell us some ways that you want people to, you can help people.
Professionally, I teach tarot classes. I do one-on-one mentoring. I consult if you're looking to write books, or if you need, like, my special magic is I can take an idea and get it to flow from this point to where it needs to go for you. So
We touch of
professionally, I do
magic.
consulting.
Yeah, we touch. So
Yeah.
that's what I work with Amanda. So I have a lot of creative projects and ideas. So she could actually help me very in a grounded way to getting it, written and edited and published. All this insight because she works with multiple creatives and multiple publisher, but she also can see intuitively and feel
Yes.
intuitively and pull tarot. So it's like.
So that's my personal stuff too. I can also do readings all day long. I do Zoom readings now. I've gotten used to the camera business, and I like to do them on my phone because then I can show you how I'm reading. It's not, I don't use spreads. I kind of read your energy and look at the empty spaces and where things are connected. And so it's as much about the cards as where the cards are touching. So there's all kinds of stuff. There's readings,
Creative
there's
consulting,
consultations.
mentorship, and like learning from her, like all the
Yeah.
things, and also just just tarot reading, right? Just getting
Yes.
getting a reading.
And if there's something that you need and you reach out to me for, and I can't do it, like I'll just send you to somebody who can, that I think is a good human, because that's the way we should treat each other.
Yeah, and you know a lot of good people actually.
I do. I'm really lucky.
So thank you everyone for watching and commenting and interacting with us. And thank you, Amanda, for spending your evening. And we will be together at the Tarot Fool's Journey class together. So make sure you guys check it out. And then I'll be sure to share her Instagram link after this broadcast is over so you could follow her.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Don't go anywhere, Amanda, but I'll.
Okay.
But say bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.